One thing that you have to realize when you are a spiritual man or a spiritual woman, depth is required in all aspects of any connection that's in your life. These superficial BS connections that mean nothing have no value. Okay. And if a person can't go deep, a lot of times y'all be wondering why these people you're connected to, it's enticing and then it'll wear off. It's because there's no depth there. In order to deal with a spiritual man or a spiritual woman, you have to be able to go deep. Okay, you got to be able to swim in the deep end. And if you can't, you might as well just hang it up because it ain't going to work. See, spiritual men and women have tapped into their soul, and the only type of thing that is fulfilling or mentally enticing, spiritually enticing, is depth. Can you go deep with me? Because if you can't go deep, if we can't jump in the deep end together, if you can't swim, it's not going to work. You see, we are tapping into our soul, and soulful requires depth. It requires you to be open. Your heart has to be cracked open. And if you find a spiritual man or a spiritual woman, right, just know that the rest of the stuff, it ain't gonna cut it. We're not out here searching for connections that are shallow, that don't work. Just like there are fishes in the ocean who thrive at the top of the water, we are at the bottom. We are at the very, 2,000 leagues under the sea, 5,000 leagues under the sea, 10,000 leagues under the sea, wherever, however far. We at the very bottom with the creatures that are undiscovered, in tune with our soul. So you're going to have to either go deep or leave us alone. And if you can't swim, stay out the water, because we are not for everybody, okay? We see things that people overlook. We see with a different perspective. And if you can't respect that, then you must leave us be. Because when you come into a spiritual man or a spiritual woman's life, as much depth that they usually have and as much connection that they usually have, they also have protection from a divine presence. And it's nothing we can do to turn that off. So coming into a spiritual man or spiritual woman's life is always a risk. They're going to take you deep. Please make sure you have your floaties or some type of scuba gear, Lord have mercy. Because we're not going to do surface level anything with you. For what? It is a waste of breath, a waste of time, a waste of thought. Once we realize that you are still floating at the top of the water, then we usually are willing to walk away and not feel bad about it. Because nothing about the situation is keeping us intertwined. It's not keeping us enticed or entertained. It's boring and it has no depth. Just like those fish who survive at the top of the water, right? If you take them all the way to the bottom of the sea, they might not make it. And the one thing about it is, once you go deep, you can't come up too fast. Look at it as scientific. You come up too fast, then things happen to your lungs. In real life, apply that to your spiritual journey. You got to catch your breath once you really run into spiritual things, spiritual men and women, because we've taken you way deeper than what you're used to going. And now you have to adjust back to your 3D program self. Welcome. That's why I say spirituality was trending. It's been trending for years. People think it's a game. But if you're not ready to go deep, then we are not for you. I love y'all.